Hi, I'm Alex.
My name's Rachel.
I'm Katie.
As soon as the camera starts.
Should I talk?
What is your experience with like homeless people or people who are poor?
My experience with homeless people.
I was sitting in math class one day last year, and we were doing this project about the food bank. And there was this girl who just threw out this comment that she just said, all poor people are lazy. I told Alex about it. I was texting her that night, and I was like, Alex, guess what this girl said?
Katie told us about this idea about a story that she had heard in class about poverty and someone bashing everyone who is homeless. And I've always wanted to make a documentary. So we got together, then we got Rachel, and it was born.
I don't know, it wasn't part of like the initial like, we hate people who hate homeless people conversation, but Katie and Alex came to me and they were really frustrated about the situation. At first we started with a big like survey that we sent to religion classes, and we got like stats.
So we wrote out a survey about just different like statistics about poverty. We got those back, we tallied them up, and the results were kind of surprising.
Like what started this was like teens not understanding, I would say, and therefore not liking homeless people, because I think a lot of people don't like what they don't understand.
Then I started to do more research and look up like teens' attitudes on the internet. I just found a lot of news reports about teens beating up homeless people, killing them in some cases. A lot of videos that just were very, very degrading towards people who were homeless.
Then we went to Seattle. That was our, wait no, Katie went to Trenton. We went to the soup kitchen there. She got really good stuff.
I went to Trenton Area Soup Kitchen in Trenton, New Jersey, where my uncle is the executive director. He kind of let me tour around, and I got to go in the back and meet a lot of the volunteers that worked there.
In Seattle, we went to Real Change, which was a paper.
It was cool, the newspaper. It's funny because whenever I go to Seattle, I always have the people who are like, want to buy a newspaper? And I was like, no. And I never really understood it. I was just kind of like, why do all these people like ask me to buy newspapers?
They sell the papers to people in low income or poverty or homelessness, or for whatever reasons they need to be doing this, for however much it takes to make the paper, right? Which is 35 cents. Then they sell it for however much a paper usually costs. They go out, the vendors, which is $1. Thanks, Katie. They go out and sell it for like $1 and keep the profit. And then also we have PSKS that we visited in Seattle, which is, I can never say this, Peace for the Streets by Kids from the Streets. I always have trouble saying that.
You can get an education, they can just hang out there, there's food, there's a way to get employment if they need it. They get help to find housing. There's just a lot of different programs involved in it that help homeless kids get back on their feet.
We went to St. Pius, we volunteered there with their food bank and their food drive and stuff.
The main lady there would be able to give them just help them to pay for that thing, whether she would give them like $50 or $100 to help them get through that month, or she could help by directing them to another person who could give them a little bit more money to help them. I also interviewed the district judge of where we live. His name is Judge John Mitchell. He started a mental health court and a drug abuse court. instead of going to jail, which could potentially lead to a worse situation, they put them through a program.
Then we had our focus group with all the different kids.
So we kind of just put them all into a room and asked them a couple questions.
It was cool because you could see on their faces what they were thinking.
And yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah,
Like a beggar?
30 old clothes.
They're a cardboard sign.
Yeah, yeah.
They talk to themselves.
And they've got like a
Shopping carts and newspapers and scruffy beards and trench coats all around the line. People. Homeless. Addicted to drugs.
We see like homeless as like a corny stereotype that they're gonna use like money for like drugs, like alcohol. And kind of like so you see a guy, you're like, I'll give him $1, he's just gonna buy booze with it.
That's what my parents told me. Never to give money to those people because they're just gonna go buy drugs or alcohol.
I would think like life circumstances would also factor into that. That was like just like the chain of poverty or whatever. Like it's not like it doesn't have to be like addiction or mental illness, but like if they're born into a situation that is crappy, then I don't know, they might not be able to get out of it.
Questions we asked? We asked a lot of questions. It's a documentary, that's what you do.
A lot of people, when we did our survey, said it was a result of their own choices or even circumstances that have put them in there. Do you agree with that? Or
to a degree,
yeah.
I definitely believe that we are the masters of our own destiny. But I also believe that a lot of people that do end up on the streets either are dealing with mental illness, abuse at home, substance abuse, which leads up to dependency on substance.
If you're dirt poor and you've lost your kids and you know you're on probation, you've got a felony over your head, not working, just to get up and face the day is probably pretty tough. And so, you know, you go drink yourself into a stupor or you use meth or whatever, it won't change all those things that you're facing, but it will sort of dull what you're facing.
The number one reason is not necessarily unemployment, it's just economic. Because some of the people do work and they just don't make enough money with the cost of living. So I think the first reason is economics. About 30% of the people that come here have jobs, they work. They're just low income people.
A lot of people work, a lot of people selling the paper and living on the streets who got laid off, who had, you know, a medical emergency and have been paying off a medical bill since, you know, for the last 15 years. And that's basically what their rent money would be. A lot of people with, I see some people with really severe mental illness and no way to afford treatment and no way to get treatment.
A lot of our clients are second generation homeless. Their parents were homeless, they became homeless. Some try to stop it. We have one young lady who has a child and they're off the street and she hopes it stops there because she's, you know, her family was really struggling and she was, but she's not going to allow her daughter to have that situation.
There's always those kids that, you know, they feel like their parents' rules are unfair, you know, and they decide to run away for the summer. You know, but then for every one of those kids, there's, you know, at least one, maybe more, of another kid that, you know, was getting beat up and, you know, whatever, their parents died, bad circumstances, or, you know, there's always an adult who went bankrupt, something bad happened, you know, and they just couldn't get back on their feet.